Matchday live here on LUTV. Leeds start a stretch of 4 home games out the next 6 on the back of that win down in South Wales, taking on a Luton team who graced the Premier League last year but are struggling so far this season back in the Sky Bet Championship. This game is available outside the UK now. No point sucking up to him now. In fact, it's great having you both here. You experienced a fantastic time together, you know, promotion together and those special moments at Old Trafford against Bristol here and all those special moments. We've got a couple of pictures of your guys' time together. This is so nice to see you guys in perfect harmony and unison. Let's take a look at a little bit of you guys together. There you go. Look, there's a little hug on the right, and looks like you're walking off there.
I feel like I've been sent off. Just taking him off, and he wasn't happy and stormed down the tunnel.
This is ridiculous. Leave me on. I'm a goal scorer.
I think whoever came on that day scored twice, so it was a good decision.
It's a good managerial choice in the end. You see those kind of images, and I can see the smiles on your faces right now. It must just bring back the best memories of the best times. That season was incredible.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, the games that you mentioned there, the Man United and Bristol Rovers game where Jermaine came to the forefront of it all. It was a great time for us all, that promotion year, and then Jermaine decided to go off and to the Premier League, but left it. Well, we sort of, I decided, against many people's opinions, to sign him again at Huddersfield and Preston, but we've worked well together. People warned me not to work with him too much, but I seem to get the best out of him, and he seems to get the best out of me.
And in terms of, from your point of view as a player, that relationship between manager and player is so important. You want a manager who's going to, I guess, believe in you, trust you, get the best out of you. Maybe you tell you things that sometimes you don't hear, take you off when you think you've got more left in the tank. Talk us through that with this guy here.
Well, no, exactly as Simon touched on there. He believed in me, gave me the confidence to play the game that I know how to play. And sort of, I don't want to say you built the team around me, but you gave me the freedom to...
Certainly didn't.
You built the team, and then you said, right, Bex, just play football. So
I think what it was, we had some really good attacking players, obviously, in my time there, and we sort of said, get the ball to the best players who are going to win the matches. And Jermaine and Luciano, Snodgrass and Gray, Howson, etc. We had plenty of good attacking options, and I think it's part of you as a manager understanding what makes players tick. Jermaine worked differently to other players. Sometimes a stick was needed to one or two others, sometimes more of an arm around him, and
I needed a hug more so than
I had Snods to do that as well. Snods was really good.
He was great, wasn't he?
And we were good in the dressing room in terms of we worked hard and committed to what we're doing, but with the fun that we had as well in terms of probably one of the best stories on a match day. Sods would go up to Jermaine and give him the armband and say to him, can you pass that to Johnny or Nails and stuff like that. Till the point came when we played Bristol Rovers and Snod said, armband Jermaine. And he went, who am I passing to? And he went, and Snods went, nobody, you're captain today. And he still didn't believe what was happening, and the rest is history, as we said.
Yeah. I guess the key thing is, because that was then and this is now, but the key thing is what you did both experience is that dynamic, or those qualities, the magic potion that's required to get a promotion for a team. So what are those qualities? What does this team that are going to play tonight against Luton, what do they need in abundance that's going to get them over the line? And what is the aim of the season?
Look, you've got to be resilient, you've got to have spirit, the unity within the group, that you're all fighting for each other. You've got to be able to handle the pressure of playing at Elland Road and the Leeds faithful, because that's not an easy thing to do. But you've got to enjoy it as well, and you've got to be able to be level-headed in terms of what I'm trying to say is that if you lose a game, don't get too low, but when you're winning, don't get too carried away. Try and be level plateau right the way through it, and you'll get just rewards off the back of it. And you've got to be resilient, and we had a few setbacks along the way, and we came through it. Leeds at the weekend was a prime example at conceding to go 3-3, but then having the resilience to come back in and winning 4-3, and that's the hallmark of a good team and probably a promotion-winning team.
That must have been some journey back for the players after that game at Swansea. I mean, you talk about being level-headed. Of course, that's a key quality. You don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low, because it's a long way to go in a season. But when you have a win like that, presumably it's hard not to be a little bit bouncy on the way back.
Yeah, especially when you consider Swansea are a very, very good football inside. They kept the second most possession in the whole of the league. The problem they had prior to the game against us was they couldn't score goals. They weren't known for many goals in a game. They would win by a goal, and that would be it. They seemed to put that right against us in the attacking sense, defensively not so much. But for us to be able to overcome that to, like the gaffer said there with, I was just about to call him Max then, flipping heck, with William Nonto, scoring the type of goal that we've seen Max Gradle score in the past. That shows that they've got self-belief. That shows that they've got trust and understanding in what is demanded from them, from the manager of them. So I think a lot of the plaudits have got to go to Daniel Farker for keeping their self-belief and making the changes, the substitutions at the right time as well.
We'll take a look at those goals, because why the heck wouldn't we in just a moment? But first, let's hear from one of the players who was playing a big part and was definitely very, very, very much onside. We weren't sure at the time, but definitely the replay showed was definitely onside for one of the crucial moments in the game. Let's get the thoughts pre-match tonight of Sam Byram.
Well, Sam, good to be back at Elland Road.
Yeah, it's always nice to be back at home. Obviously we've had a positive result on the road, and they come thick and fast in this league, so we're back at home and we're prepared again.
Much like the game on Sunday, the prize at the end of it potentially is to go back top. Is that important to try and do that?
Yeah, definitely. It's our aim, to be at the top of the league and win the league. So, like you say, it's back in our hands again, and we know what's ahead of us tonight.
When people look at the table and look at the recent form, everyone will expect that Leeds United will win this game. Will it be that straightforward?
I think that's the sort of the consensus with most games, that we're expected to win. Obviously, it's a huge club, especially in the Championship. Any game in the Championship's difficult. So we need to be on our A game against a good opponent tonight. Obviously, very physical. The table doesn't always reflect results in this league. So we need to be on it, and we've got a tough game ahead.
There you go, a tough game ahead. 7:45 kickoff here at Elland Road. Just a quick note on the team news tonight. There is one change, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's probably maybe in the positions you tell me that are really have some depth, and that's on the wings. And it's Willie Nonto who scored that goal to win the game. Comes in for Dan James. Got 3 assists at the weekend as well. Manus Solomon's still in, and we've got Ramazzani on the bench as well. So those 4 players really vying for places. And tonight it's Willie Nonto scoring that goal who gets the nod over Dan James.
Yeah, we were talking before we came on air what the team might be, and we did think that Willie might come into the team and maybe give Solomon a bit of a rest, given that he's been out injured and he's been a bit injury prone in the back-to-back games, and he might be the one that sort of has a rest tonight and maybe available for the weekend. But Daniel decides to change the place of Dan, who created 3 assists at the weekend. But it's a lovely position to be in when you've got 4 players of that quality that you can chop and change it for either game, any game, but also throughout the course of the game as well. And they might think tonight that Luton could get tired in the last 15-20 minutes, and Dan will be a great fresh option to come in because he's blistering pace and he's obviously playing with a lot of confidence as well. But lovely position to have 4 top players in your squad.
How do you keep him happy as a manager? Because Dan probably thinks, I'm going to start the next game. Willie scores a goal, he wants to play. Largely Ramazzani had a great start to the season, had an injury. He'll be frustrated, I guess, because how do you keep those players happy? Because keeping that unity and that team as one is going to be one of the key things.
But your standard answer to that is really that you'll get your chance. It's a squad game, the rotation, the games are coming thick and fast. And sometimes as coaches, managers, you pick a team for a particular game. What's required, away from home or at home against a low block or a team that will play on the counter-attack against you. So lucky, you just have to manage it, and players will react to it in different ways. As I said earlier, some will need more of an arm round them, some will need sort of reassuring more than others, and it's part and parcel of your job. You're a tactician, but you're a babysitter as well.
There you go. That's on the job description. I didn't realise when it was popped on LinkedIn. Right, let's take a look at the weekend then, because Leeds with a fantastic win in the end down in South Wales against Swansea by 4-3, and started off with a set piece, conceding like that as they had done at Millwall. And I guess there would have been some frustration from a coaching point of view that they've conceded a set piece there, Jermaine.
Yeah, look, it's not an area that we've been super strong in, is it? Defending set pieces. And over the last few weeks, months, we have improved. But that just reiterated the need to keep switched on for a little bit longer. The reaction and response we got, Pascal Struijk on his weaker right foot, perfectly weighted pass, same from Dan James. was the type of response and reaction that we wanted to see as fans, but Daniel Farke would have been absolutely over the moon seeing. Now defensively, look, there's still moments and areas that we could tighten up in transition. We know that Swansea are very good. We should have been a little bit tighter, maybe not committed so many bodies forwards, but at the same time, again, you look at how many chances, how many opportunities we created on the offence when we possession. That's the part that is really exciting. As the gaffer touched on there's so many attacking players in this team that have got explosive pace, but also ruthless in front of goal. They can score a goal out of nothing.
See, when you look at some of the goals, Dan James has been brilliant, sort of so unselfish, looking for a teammate as well. Swansea played into Leeds' hands, really, playing such a high line with the pace of Dan James and Notto and Solomon as well, and even Sam Byron breaking sort of from left back forward again, squaring it across. And it was a basketball match, wasn't it? But the good thing about it was when they got into them key areas, they didn't panic, they didn't sort of take the wrong option, they found a teammate. Again, such a high line, really great timing of his run from Sam and strike finding and then Sam probably didn't fancy shooting from that angle on his left foot, so he decided to put it to somebody who's probably a little bit more secure in his finishing, and you can just see the reaction. And Jermaine will tell you more than I do, but there's no better feeling than scoring in front of the way supporters to go in front. Disappointment of conceding a late goal, but then scoring and again a winner late on is a great feeling.
This kind of game is a manager's nightmare, right? I mean, it's now we've won it, you can look back and say, oh, that was fun. But when you're in the moment as a manager, this just must be a nightmare for a manager.
When you've got to such a close part of the game where you look like you're going to win it and then to concede it. But again, as I mentioned earlier, the resilience, the great quality, the eye of the needle pass through and the calmness to finish it, because it's not easy to finish that from Willie Nonto. He had to be calm under pressure, dink it over the goalkeeper. And we had a few of these games when I was here where you're scoring late on, I think, West Ham, Brighton and a few others where you can, no better feeling this player's going to celebrate in front of the supporters. But again, great player, resilient, all stood and timing his run. A lot of players might have just gone a little bit too early, but Ivor Needle pass from Dan again and slotted it through the goalkeeper and game over in 3 points.
How much of a moment is that potentially for this season? Because, you know, when you look back at seasons, you get a 1-0 win here or a 2-0 or a game where a team with a low block at Elland Road and you manage to grind it out and what have you. But a game like that where it's kind of, you've lost it and then you go and win it right at the death. Does that sometimes as a player you look back and say that's the moment that you look and say, now we really kick on from here, especially considering the away form hasn't been anywhere near as good as the home form so far?
Well, as players, we say, do you know what, it's possible. Anything's possible now. We believe in ourselves that even if it's going to take the 94th, 95th minute, 96th minute, we will score, we can score. And it will take 20 seconds. We saw that last goal, the counter-attack from picking the ball up at the back of the pitch and getting the ball in the back of the net, it was 20 seconds, around about 20 seconds. We know we can do that. We're by far the fittest team in the league, in my opinion. And you could see that with the defensive frailties that they showed. They were tired. They didn't track back. That's where we come to life. So that belief as a player is definitely going to play.
I think also with this Leeds team as well, you always know until that final whistle goes, you're always going to get another opportunity because somebody's going to find a pass, somebody's going to do something because of the quality that's within the dressing room and the squad, and everybody has to be ready. And Willie came on, wanted to make an impression, made an impression, and has got him a starting place tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we are set for a cracker here at Elland Road this evening. It has teed us up perfectly for this huge game. Leeds' chance to go back to the top of the pile in the Sky Bet Championship. Your commentary team in 15 minutes' time will be Bryn Law and Tony DiRigo. Let's get their pre-match thoughts.
Well, after all the excitement of the game at Swansea, here we are back at Elland Road, looking forward to another big championship fixture. Luton Town, the opponents tonight. Team news first. A change. Nonto in for James.
Yes, and probably a little surprising. I thought Dan James had a fantastic game down at Swansea, but the manager has got some really good wingers, and I suppose rotating them is going to be important. And this time it's Nonto that starts. He was the one that had to sit it out, scored the winner right at the end, and he gets the opportunity to play.
Whoever's in the 11, the outcome needs to be the same, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and the pressure I think is always on. Any player that gets into that first 11, you have to play well to keep your spot. I think that's really important. Spirit amongst the squad clearly is extremely high to come back like they did, and that is all to do with a togetherness. They need to be together out there because Luton will come here and want to spoil the party.
It's been snakes and ladders at the top, hasn't it? Leeds started the game on Sunday 4th, ended it top, and now find themselves back in 4th place again, but with the same potential to move up.
Yeah, and you think if they do win, suddenly the ones that are getting close are dropping a point or two. Sunderland obviously getting just a draw. So that only matters if we keep winning. And so we've got to try and not look too far afield. The enemy, as I always like to call them, tonight it's Luton. We concentrate on them and we get the job done. So, a really fast start is what we need.
But there's an expectation when you look at the league table, Luton's form so far this season. The expectation is heavy on the Leeds players' shoulders, isn't it, for this one?
It is, and that's where the danger lies. I think everyone thinks, well, this should be quite a straightforward home win. They're never straightforward. Swansea proves that. I think we said before that with Swansea, the way that we played there, it's either easy way, the hard way, and then there's a Leeds way of doing stuff, and that was definitely the Leeds way. But what we need to do at home, keep that clean sheet, get back to defending well, because that wasn't our finest game defensive-wise. Do that, I think we've got enough firepower going forward to score.
The easy way would be nice, obviously, but as Tony suggests, maybe the Leeds way will do.
The easy way or the Leeds way, we will have to wait and see. 7:45 kick-off this game, available outside the UK and Ireland. Of course, your Matchday pass available at the LUTV website. Togetherness was a word that Tony picked up on there, and I think it's what you were alluding to as well, that moment at Swansea creates that extra togetherness as if it already wasn't there, of saying, we're in this and we can go and do this.
That result could be the difference between getting promotion and not come the end of the season. 3-3 is a point, 2 points dropped, but then change it to a winning mentality, winning 3 points, but the mentality becomes the confidence and the momentum carries forward. And it will show to the rest of the division that there is that strong mental side to this team that never give up, resilient, and are going into a run of games on paper, which really are games where we can get some really good points. And everybody's going to drop points from now to the end of the season, of course they are, but you've just got to make sure you do what you asked to do, and that's win games. Winning tonight will be a massive start, ready for the weekend as well. Yeah,
I can see Elland getting ready there with the warm-ups. We just saw some pictures of Willie Gnonto. Jermaine, how good is Willie Gnonto? I mean, a really big moment for him at the weekend. He's now starting to produce big moments on regular basis, isn't he, for this club?
He is indeed, and that's something that Daniel Farke sees as well. That's the reason he's been brought back in. He brought him off the bench, and you could see that he was chomping at the bit. He was a little bit frustrated to have been left out of the starting 11, and now he's got his chance again, like this man here, like Tanaka, to show everybody what they're all about in terms of the ball retention, how they move the ball. One of my favourite things about Tanaka is he seems to find space all over the pitch, and that in itself is such a skill, such a talent. But he doesn't look phased, he doesn't look flustered, he doesn't look like he's panicked on the ball either. But he does also find himself defensively in great areas. He picks up a lot of loose balls. He also blocks off a lot of dangerous situations of the oppositions as well. Whether it's tonight, whether it's against Swansea, it doesn't matter. I'm a huge admirer of his. I think he's a fantastic player.
And Simon, from a coaching and managerial point of view, because we do have still some big injuries and some big players that are out, you want those players to step in. And at the moment, in terms of Tanaka and the job that Rothwell's been doing in midfield, and particularly now Tanaka's getting a lot of plaudits, Jermaine speaking so glowingly. When you have players who come in and you think, oh yeah, we've really got the depth here, that's like a dream come true for you.
Well, that's what the squad's all about, isn't it? And I've been really impressed with him, as Jermaine's mentioned there, his strength of making it look so easy. He does the ugly side of the game well, he reads it well. I think Rothwell's been really good as well, they complement each other really well. And really, when the other two boys come back, Ampadu and Gurev, you're thinking, wow, there's good competition for there. And everybody thought that them two would be the key players for the season, but these two have stepped up when required. And that's going to be the case. You're not going to go through a full season where you've got a full complement of players. But when you come into the team, you have to affect it. Because if you don't affect the game, I bet you're waiting for your chance a long time. Yeah,
in terms of tonight, we look at the opponents. Luton, we know, it did incredibly to get to the Premier League. I mean, it was quite some story. Had the time up there. They've come down. They are struggling this season. You look at it on paper. And by the way, I'll just preempt it before you say it, because you already said it to me once before we were on air. You don't win games on paper. But I'm just saying, when you look at it on paper, Leeds, 6 wins, a draw and a defeat at home. Luton away from home, 1 win, 1 draw, 5 defeats. You look at it like that and you think it would be, well, it's going to be a rollover, but of course it's not going to be. And I guess with a team that have been struggling to get going, but with a squad like they do, you think at some point maybe they will. You don't want to be the team that's at that moment.
Well, the thing with them at the moment is that they're desperate for wins because Rob's under pressure. They were one of the favourites to get promoted, and I've got a couple of Luton fans, mates who are Luton fans, and speaking to them a little bit, they find that the court in the way that they're playing, in terms of what I'm saying, when they were in the Premier League last year, they were quite direct. The bullied teams and Elland Road was the real sort of on top of each other. Now they're trying to play out from the back a little bit and maybe haven't got the players to do that. So they're caught in different styles of playing. This won't be like the Swansea game because Luton will come here, get probably every player behind the ball, make it difficult to get the space. It was a basketball match at the weekend. They'll defend and try and hit us on the counter attack. Just got to make sure if we can get the first goal is always key in these types of games because the opposition have to come out and make sure and open it up a little bit. And once the game opens up, between these two teams, there's only one winner because we've got better quality than most of the teams in the division. And
in terms of their formation, I mean, 3-5-2 for Luton, how do Leeds go and play against that? What kind of difficulty does that pose? What opportunities are there for the team?
The clear ones are going to be down the channels either side, which is where we're really, really strong with our wide players. But I think the most important thing is not worrying about what they're going to do. Just playing the game that we play. Playing the game that Tanaka and Rothwell boss the midfield and put the ball out wide and keep it nice and tight at the back. When we do that, when every player's firing on all cylinders pretty much, playing 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, no team in the league can get anywhere near us. So try not to put too much emphasis on the opposition, but just play the game that we play well. Try and move the ball quickly through Brendan Aronson, who's been really, really good since he's come back from his loan spell out in Germany. Scored himself quite a few goals. He's got the trust back from a lot of the fan base. And look, there's still a little bit of a few areas to improve, but he's working really, really hard. I just want to see a little bit more physicality from him and move the ball quickly. Nobody can deal with that pace.
Yeah, and Joe Rothwell, I can see here. I mean, suddenly, you know, the delivery on set pieces looks really dangerous, doesn't it? And that's opportunities. And you're going to have to score a chunk of those kind of goals throughout a season, aren't you, to contribute and to weigh in. And the defenders getting on the end of stuff like that and people chipping in from all over the pitch.
We've gone from looking like a team that was never going to score a set piece to actually looking like we might score on a regular basis now. He's good delivery. I like Rothwell because he's a good championship player. He knows the game, he knows the position, he knows how to handle big clubs and what's required at this level. And you can't always get players in that are coming from abroad, different leagues, because it's a tough division, this championship. But he knows what it's all about and he'll guide the younger players through and he'll be a bit of a leader in the dressing room as well.
OK, well, we are moments away from kick-off here. Elland Road is full, the floodlights are on. It's a crisp, cold night here in Beeston and hopefully 3 points for Leeds United. Taking on Luton Town, a 7:45 kick-off. Your commentary team, Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo, on the way after we hear from the Leeds United manager, Daniel Farke.
For me, they are one of the contenders for the top 6. There is no doubt about this. They played last season in the Premier League and I've experienced this that often, so quite often for a team who is relegated, it's difficult to avoid a hangover in the championship. I think it was credit to Southampton less than us last season that we were there with so many points and also at least a solid start into the season. But quite often it happens that you're struggling. Also, like even on the wrong end of the table, also a bit unlucky. Then lots of fluctuations with incomings, with outgoings, and this of course affects then also the lads. So this was also my experience also with Norwich once we went down. It was so difficult to get everyone back on track, and thank God we managed to do this and won the title then in the league in this year again. But it's so difficult, and it's also sometimes you have to accept a poor start, but they still have lots of quality. They have lots of physicality in their team. They have a manager who has done and worked miracles for them also the years before, and so I think they have a pretty tight group. And it's always important then to be honest. And then you could also tell in the last game, pretty important win, clean sheet win. So for me, that's a dangerous side. And also a team who I expect come next May that they have a chance also to still to finish in the top 6. So for me, it's a really good team, and for that we also go into this game pretty respectful. They had one more day of recovery. It makes a difference on such a quick turnaround, and they played last season Premier League also with many players involved. They have many players with Premier League experience in their group, and for that. Also in this away game, there's probably one of the games away at Elland Road where this side doesn't have the burden to be the favorite in the game. They have nothing to lose. They can play perhaps even with a bit more freedom, especially after an important win for them. So, and I expect them to be there with a really good performance and a really dangerous side. For that, we have to be there with an even better performance if we want to keep the points. And this is what we're trying to do. So, it will be a tricky game, and we have to be on it from the first second.
After all the drama in Wales at the weekend, Leeds United are back in West Yorkshire with the latest Championship challenge provided by Luton Town. Given the relative position of the two teams, the expectation levels will be high for a